Hekatetemita Kali Inanna Isis Astartediana Hekatetemita Kali Inanna Isis Astartediana Hekatetemita Kali Inanna. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain, flowing to the ocean. We all come from the goddess. Oh, yeah. And to her we shall return like a drop of the rain, like the rain flowing down to the ocean. Isis started Diana, Hecate Demeter Kali, and Anna. Isis started Diana, Hecate Demeter Kali, and Anna. Hey, Timmies. It's Psychic Bob, also known as Lord Ision, my Wiccan name and title. And I'm just hanging out with Lamb Chop on a Wiccan Wednesday, and I'm getting my witch groove on. Oh, girl, don't you know? Oh, got on my witch hat. I've been out flying around on my broom tonight. Nah, I didn't fly on my broom, but I would if I could. Oh my gosh, how are you tonight, Lamb Chop? What's that? You lost the book. Oh, no, we're going to have to find it. Remember, he's been reading the Martian Chronicles? Well, he's lost the book. Now, Lamb Chop, how did you lose that book? That was a first edition. Okay. Well, we'll find it in just a little while, okay? Golly gee, I tell you, I got to keep it on. At least he didn't lose my astrology pendant yet. You still got that on, don't you? How are you guys today? I'm so glad you're here. Well, Lamb Chop, we'll find the book. Anyways, well, welcome to Wiccan Wednesday. If you are new here, by the way, welcome to our channel. We welcome you. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Bob Hickman. So I'm having some tech issues. And you've landed in my channel, Spirit Channel. Now, we do something here at Spirit Channel 7 days a week, and every day has a different theme. And on Wednesdays, we do a show called Wiccan Wednesday. I'm a Wiccan as well as a spiritualist. And yes, I practice two religions, Wicca and spiritualism, and they just work in my life. So on Wednesday, we get things witchy. We do a little magic, little arts and crafts, you know. But we're going to talk about some cool stuff tonight. And are you up to doing some painting tonight, Lamb Chop? Okay. Well, why don't you go over there and sit down? We'll do a little arts a little later, okay? All right, I'm going to sit you down here. Now go over there. Yeah, go look for that book while you're over there. I think it's under the sofa. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be with you. Well, golly gee, who all's here with us tonight? Oh, I see Stardust C is here. Hello. Yay, there's Lady James, the Earl Grey teacher. There's Medina Belvin. There's Baroness Bobs. Yay, Baroness. She's our moderator tonight. Thank you, Baroness. And if you like the cool picture at the beginning, that was Baroness's artwork. Thank you, Baroness. There's Amy Radcliffe. Yay. Lady Jane of the Earl Grey Tea Tribe. Yay. Well, welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming. Are you guys able to hear me? Cola says we're getting interference. Okay, I hope that you guys can hear me out there. Well, it's so good to be with you. Well, you know, the last few weeks, we've been doing a lot of talks about the power that flows through our hands. We've been talking about Wiccan gestures, such as the blessing of the horned Lord symbol. And if you haven't seen that, you might need to go back a few weeks. But this is the horned Lord symbol. We also learned a few weeks ago about the mano figa, which represent the goddess. So tonight, to start our show, I give all of you the blessing of the Lord and the Lady. Here are their signs and gestures. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or in danger, you can go outside, make these gestures, and raise them and invoke the Lord and the Lady. Wonderful thing to do. It'll help you. Anyways, I got some really cool treats to show you tonight. I've got I don't think I've shown this to you. I don't think it came last time we did the show, but I finally got my Mano Figa charm. This is a goddess symbol. And some of you see this, it's the clenched fist. It's the fist, and you take the thumb, put it between the first finger and the middle finger, and you raise the fist as a sign of the power of the goddess. And I have my little Mano Figa charm. Can you see it? I don't know if it's hard to see here. We got a little glare. Isn't that cute? So it just hangs on my cord here. A little Mano Figa. So I'm wearing that tonight. And I thought we'd just have a little review about the power of gestures, because we've been talking a lot about that in the last few weeks, and some of you weren't here. And this little reading is taken from Scott Cunningham's book I highly recommend, from Llewellyn. I'm not endorsed by Llewellyn or Scott Cunningham's estate. Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And they have a chapter in here called Music, Dance, and Gesture. And I thought I'd read a little bit about the gestures, about the hand gestures. Okay. Amy Radcliffe says, Bob's got my nose. That's right. Little kids do it. Got your nose, got your nose. Well, that's the same symbol, but in Wicca, this represents the goddess, and it's a protection to invoke her divine power. Okay. So here it says, let me just read this to you, okay? Just relax. We'll just listen to this. All right. So it says, gestures are silent counterparts to words. Gestures can enhance Wiccan rituals when performed in conjunction with invocations or dance, or can be used alone for their real power. Pointing, as mentioned above, the use of the first and middle fingers displayed to create a V in the vulgar representation of upraised middle finger, demonstrate the variety of messages. Yeah, in Europe, this is like really obscene gesture. Okay. Conveyed through gesture, as well as the range of emotional responses to them. All right, so that's just one, like, that's a nasty phrase. It's like American middle finger. They use this in Europe a lot. Okay. All right, so Scott Cunningham goes on and writes, he says, my introduction to Wicca happened to include some of these old gestures. In 1971, I saw some photographs of magical protective gestures, such as the Mano Figa, a hand clenched into a fist, the thumb jutting out from between the first and middle fingers. That's that, okay? And the Mano Cornuta, a V formed by the first and little fingers and held upside down. Now, it can be used like this. You go, like that, or you can point, or you can raise it up. Really, it can be either way. Traditionally, you go, evil be gone. Okay. Both have long been used to avert the evil eye and negativity, and the latter is used in Wicca with the points up to represent the god in his horned aspect. In fact, I have my Mano Cornuta charm here as well. Some of you have seen this. It's a little silver charm, and it's the hand with the fingers up, the fist. See, like this hand gesture? All right, that's that in a charm. It's done in silver overlaid in enamel. Isn't that great? And it's just a little pendant. You just wear it like that or like that. Either way. But this is the male power, the counterpart to the female power. So this represents the god in his horned lord aspect. This represents the goddess, the mother divine feminine. And so let me just take it off. I'll show you it again here. So this is actually made out of, I think it's enamel. It's like just solid enamel. But it's really pretty. It's done in a kind of a Tiffany's turquoise blue. Can you guys see that okay? So that's that symbol, just like that, and that's the fist. And so I just wear that, on a charm. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what that is. All right, that represents the goddess. So as a Wiccan, these hand symbols are very powerful. We can do them, or we can also wear them as charms, and that carries the power. So I didn't think I got to show you guys this charm. So I thought you'd enjoy seeing that tonight. Okay, how you like that? All right. Now, as you know, we've been talking all about the power of hands, and we've been working here, for those of you who may have been away the last 2 weeks, we've been working on painting this goddess hand charm. And so this is another thing. In the ancient Roman times, the upright hand was a sign of power and protection. And it was literally like, how we go, halt, don't go forward. The upraised hand represent that, like, halt, the gods are present, you cannot go forward. So it's a sign of protection. And many people in the ancient Roman days would put hand sculptures like this in their houses for protection and blessing. And it's made a comeback in the modern pagan movement. So we've been painting this. Now, I've done this as the green goddess, the green hand. You don't have to do a green hand, but that's how I wanted to do it. And so I thought tonight we'd just do a little more embellishment on our hand charm. By the way, if you're interested in making one for yourself, what you want to do is go on eBay or Etsy and look up mannequin hands or nail model hands. They sell these. They're made of like a rubber material. They're really quite nice. They're not expensive. I think I paid $7 maybe for this. But it's when you first buy it, it's flesh tone. They have all flesh tones. If you work with like the Black Goddess or Dark Mother, they make these in black as well. Black skin tones, really beautiful. I may get a black one to use at one point as well. But anyways, this one's going to be a green hand. And you can see it's got the nails. The nails are a little inset deep because a lot of times these are used in nail salons to demonstrate nails. So they put them in here. But there you go, okay. How you like that? You guys with me here? Thank you, Robin. Hi, Robin Boston says, I like the blue. Yes, pretty. Yeah, this is my blue, turquoise blue mano figa charm, So I thought tonight we'd just kind of continue on and work on our charm. And if you want to ask any Wiccan questions, I'm here for that as well. Got to shake up some paint here. I thought what we do is just work on a little flower essence. Maybe we're going to put a little essence of a flower here. Let's see if we can do that. Just shaking up my paint now. Bob Ross, who I used to watch all the time, he used to have a show called The Joy of Painting. And I think it's really a great way to think about it because painting, at least for me, brings a lot of joy into our lives. And painting can be a joyful experience too. We'll put a little flower, a little daisy flower up here on the finger. What do you think about that? Now I'm using some orange paint. I'll just put a little circle here. It's going to be the center of our daisy. How do you like that? And then around that, we might want to put some little symbols. I'm working with some white paint here. Sometimes when I do fine work, I like to use chopsticks to paint. Anybody ever paint with chopsticks? They're great if you need little detailed work, like little spots. And so I've put some white paint just on the tip of this. I'm going to show you some little stuff here. So we can just take our little thing. We can just touch a little dot in there. Look at that. See how that works? We can just put some little dots around our little flower. Just make this kind of magical looking. How's that look? See, kind of like a little flower forming. Like Bob Ross used to say, just have fun. Let this be an adventure. You create it. Oh, look, there's a lovely little flower forming on the finger. How do you like that? Isn't that lovely? We could do a few of those flowers if we wanted to. We'll put one down on the palm as well. What do you think? We're going to let that sit up just for a few moments. We're going to go down here and do a little flower on the palm. I think one right here would look lovely too. So we just take our little brush, just touch in, just do a little circle there. Don't do a lot, just a little. Subtlety is sometimes more powerful in these things. Hi, Medina. This is the goddess hand. It's the hand of the green mother, the green goddess. We've been working on it for the last 2 weeks. We're just adding another installment of design on it. All right, so there's another little base for a flower. Okay. And then we can just take our little point and add some white around it. So I'm going to dip into some white paint here. Sorry, I can't show you my palette here on screen. Got my hands full. But then we just take our little tip and just do a little dot. Just a dot here, dot there. You might want to just do 4 dots at first to kind of get your perspective. See how that is? And then you just add a little dot in between each of those. It'll balance it out. Isn't that pretty? Now we got another little flower here on the hand. Last week we did these green lines. These are vines, and we're going to embellish those a little later, but that's the rough beginning of some of the vines on the goddess hand. How do you like that? Huh? You guys see that? Lady Jane says, green goddess mother hand. That's right. Isn't that wonderful? So we can have all sort of creative things. Maybe we'll put another little flower down here. That would be nice. There's no one way to do this. The secret is that you just follow your intuition, follow your inspiration, So I'm going to put another little flower. So see, maybe I'll put it down on this part of the hand. What about right here? So we could just go in there. Just put a little dot there. Look at that. How's that? Isn't that beautiful? If you make a mistake and your dot gets a little wonky like mine just did, just take it and just smooth it out. What's Bob Ross always used to say? There are no mistakes, just happy little experiences on the way. And I think he's really right about that, you see. I'm just thinking of it. Now remember, like before, we want to put 4 dots. So think of it like a compass. This will help gauge it so you get an even spacing. So 1 at the top. All right, there's our north dot right there, see? Then do 1 at the bottom, our south dot. And again, I'm using a Chinese chopstick. You can get these at any Chinese restaurant or buy them at the grocery store or the Asian aisle. So we got a north dot and a south dot. Then we'll do an east dot. Okay, there's our eastern dot. And then our western dot. Think of the compass like you're working on a map. North, south, east, west. All right. And you can do different color leaves. I'm just doing white today, but we can do other colors too. And then you want to just fill in between those dots, and that'll give you a nice little flower effect. All right, see how we're just adding those in? A little simple, like, oops. And if you mess it up, just fill in your space. I've got a little space there. It's filled in. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Simple little flowers. Now, off of these, we can do more vines. We can do different colored leaves. There's no, you're not limited. This is like your mind. It's unlimited. You can take it wherever you want to go with it. Medina Belvin says, what about a sun? We could put a sun on here too. We'll put a sun in the middle or a moon. We're unlimited in what we can do here. You see. Now don't forget, we also have our back of the hand. We haven't really done much back here. But what I'll remind you is when you're doing this, I would save the back of the hand for last because you're going to need to hold the hand. So paint that last, do one side, finish it, and then once that's dry, you can work on the other side. When I first did this, I painted both sides vigorously, excitedly, and realized, oops, that was probably not the best thing to do. So you live, you learn. Isn't that beautiful? We're just adding a little more to our goddess hand. And one of my brushes got damaged, so I need to get a new refined brush. But we're going to go back and do some leaves on this. We'll probably have to do that next week, But we're just working on it little by little, and thinking about hand gestures. One of the things that for you Wiccans that you want to do is you can making this a spell as you're doing. You can chant goddess names or visualize light filling it. Make it a prayer. Some of you may know about in the Orthodox, the Greek Orthodox Church, when they paint icons, the sacred paintings of Jesus and Mary, they fast for a few days before they paint because they want their paint to be a prayer, and they pray through the whole thing and chant psalms and prayers. And they believe that it infuses the icon with power. I think there's truth in that. And I think we Wiccans can do the same thing with our sacred images. We can chant and pray. We could chant like we did at the beginning. Isis Astarte Diana, Hecate Demita Kali, and Ahana. You can chant that as you're painting. You could sing a goddess song. So many things you can do as you're doing this, And we're thinking about a sun. So maybe we'll make a little sun in the center here. What do you think of that? Let's try that. I like that idea, Medina. Rob in Boston says, yes, a sun would look good. Why do a blazing sun here? We'll just start with a little circle. Put it in the middle of our spark. Because, the sun represents the god, or it could be the goddess. There are sun goddesses in Japan. But the Lord and the Lady are so intertwined. You can have God and goddess symbols mixed in your hand. How do we want our sun to look? Do we want it to be just a disc, or do you want rays shooting off of it? Let's think about that. A flaming sun. We'll do a little crisscross here for the rays. You could do solar cross symbol. Here's what I started with. It was kind of a solar cross. We can evolve that into a flaming sun. I wish I had my other brushes. 2 of my brushes got damaged, so I don't have them with us. So it's hard for me to do some of the stuff I'd like to do. But we can start simple. We can embellish it as we go along. Look at that. A sun is starting to form. The light. We could get some yellow, enhance that. I'm going to let it just sit up a little bit and then further refine it as we go. But I like the idea of a sun, Medina. See, now that's an example of just going with your inspiration. Medina and Robin would say, oh, a sun. And I like that, Baroness, are you okay? Is everything working? Are you having trouble hearing us? Baroness says the right part of the wrist needs a red heart, Bobs. All right, I have to find my red paint over here. We could put a little heart on it too. Robin Boston says, what about a pyramid? Baroness says, put a red heart on it, Bobs. Okay. Well, we'll work on that, I'm going to let this just sit up for a little while because the paint's really wet, and I got to find a better brush to paint with. So I may not be able to do a lot on this tonight, but this is the thing. You don't have to rush your charmed hand. Just take your time with it. Make it a prayer. Just do a little bit and put it aside. Let it set up. Think about it. You may have inspirations that come, like I love the idea of a little heart on the wrist. I think that'd be beautiful. We could put that on it. Absolutely. We could put some butterflies on it, all sort of things we can do. But I thought you guys would enjoy, kind of seeing this tonight and doing a little work on it with us, Okay, Lady Jane, where did Baroness go? Is she having tech issues? Baroness, are you okay? Let me know what's going on. Thank you, Lady Bree. Lady Bree said the flowers look pretty. Yeah. So you see, they're all sort of amazing things you can do. We're working on our sun. It's just roughly outlined. We're going to expand that, make it a blazing sun. And Baroness says we should put a little heart on here. I think that's a great idea. Right now, I'm having some problems tonight, guys, because two of my brushes got damaged. When I tried to wash them, one of the bases cracked on it. It was a long story, so I don't have a lot of options for painting tonight. So anyways, we'll probably just do a little bit. But, this keeps us working on it little by little. And I think it's very cool. So, this project reminds us to think about, hands, as we've been talking about the power hands. So evoking the goddess symbol, the mano figa, evoking the mano cornuta, the horned hand. This is the Lord and the Lady signs. And, when you wear them in your jewelry, it keeps you mindful of the blessing of our hands. It's through our hands we create. My mother used to say when I was a kid, she'd say, if we chopped your hands off, you'd be mute. Because I do. I always talk with my hands. The hands are expressions, When I used to take drama in high school, my teacher used to say, think about how you move your hands. They can convey a lot, just one gesture. Like, you walk on a stage and you just go, just that one little hand clench can tell so much without any dialogue. You see? So hands carry power. In Wicca, we believe power is released through the hands for healing, for blessing, to send power out. We use it for protection. We trace the pentagram in our rituals with our hands. Okay? We visualize the light, So think about that. How often we just take our hands for granted. But I tell you, have you ever, when you were a kid, you ever slam your hand in a car door? I did that a few times. You really know how much you appreciate your hand after you get it slammed in a car door. It's so painful to even think about, but I remember it. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Slides in LOU are a snake. Who's a snake? Nobody's a snake. Don't call anybody a snake. All Day Alchemy, Jen M. I love you so much, Bob. I had no idea too of late. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here, Jen M. Welcome. On Wednesday, we gather at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about Wiccan things. And, tonight, All Day Alchemy, if you missed it, we're working on this goddess charm. We've been talking about the power of hands and gestures and magic, you know. So, and this is a wonderful symbol of the goddess, the mano figa. If you look these up, in fact, I'll put it down in the chat. You can buy these on eBay or Etsy. Mano figa. That's what it's called. It's Italian. It means the fig hand. All right. In Europe, this is kind of considered obscene, like rude. But in the Wiccan and pagan communities, it's the power of the goddess, calling down divine power. Go out, raise your hand like that, and invoke the goddess. So bring her into your life, you know, bring her into your life. Let the goddess help you. You know, the goddess is the mother, the all of us, you know. A lot of people in the Western world don't know about the goddess because goddess worship in the West, unfortunately, died out a few thousand years ago with the advent of Christianity. Before that, the ancient Greco-Roman cultures dominated most of Europe, and they believed in a goddess. But then when Christianity rise, they said there's only one God and there's no goddess, and people fell for that and they forgot the goddess. But you know, the Catholic Church couldn't let it go, and they started honoring the Virgin Mary, who I personally think is a form of the goddess, you know. And, you know, I think that the goddess's power is coming back to life. You know, there's in the Wiccan movement, the pagan movement, they believe there's a common saying that the gods are coming back to life. They never really died, but they went into slumber because their temples were no longer honored. They no longer received sacrifice. And it's kind of like many people feel as if the ancient ones kind of withdrew from the world. And there was such aggression towards the followers. It's almost like the gods in some way withdrew so that their worshipers wouldn't be injured. They kind of hid themselves to protect their worshipers. But now we're in a time where, you know, the new age is dawning. People are starting to see that there are different ways to understand divinity, that maybe there's not just one answer. Maybe divinity is bigger than all of our answers. And if we consider that, God, goddess, mother, father, God, makes sense now. You know, there was a writer, some of you know her, Starhawk. Back in the 70s, she wrote a wonderful book on, it was called, what was it, The Goddess? Oh my gosh, I would know this book any other day. Starhawk, and it was called, and I'm blanking out, but it was basically a book about Wicca. And she said, you know, through the destruction of the divine feminine, it's created a lot of sorrow on earth because people have become disconnected from the earth. In the ancient days, they believed they honored the earth because the earth was the mother. The goddess wasn't some far away being. The goddess was immanent and lived through the earth and spoke to us and resided amongst us. And when the church destroyed that concept, people started to destroy the earth. And now we see our environmental crises. This is all an outcropping of people forgetting the mother. And they say, you know, it's damaged all the earth. And for men especially, the reason why we see the rise of the patriarchy is that when men were disconnected from the divine feminine, they lost touch with their emotions. And a lot of the men rose and became harsh, thinking only the mind. And we see very left brain oriented culture now. And with the reemergence of the goddess and the worship of the goddess, people are again starting to get in touch with their emotions. It's healing, especially for men, and well, for all people really. But for men, Starhawk says, The Spiral Dance, that's the name of the book, Spiral Dance. And for men, it's allowed them to start healing on a deep level that they've been denied for a long time. For women, it's been especially empowering, the concept of the goddess, because women now value themselves. You know, and under the patriarchal traditions, women were thought of as less than second class. And people said, that's not true. No, it's not true, but that's what was taught for a long time. And so women didn't value themselves. And now that women understand they represent the divine, that the goddess is seen in all women, every woman channels the goddess, whether she knows it or not. And for those who discover that connection, it brings healing to their bodies, their minds, and their souls, you see. Yes, Baroness Baron says, oh, Bob, you told me about Starhawk. Yes, the book is called The Spiral Dance. I'll put it down in chat. You really should read it, all of you. There it is. The Spiral Dance by Starhawk. Stardust, he has a question. She says, hey, PsychicBob, if God is only one God, how come there are so many religions? Well, what that comes from is that, all right, let me break down the Wiccan definition and then I'll address that. In Wicca, we believe that the divine is ultimately one force. We call it Drighton. You don't hear a lot of the new Wiccans say this because I'm going to be mean for a second here, but there's a lot of young Wiccans, you know, the 15 to 20-year-old crowd run around saying they know everything about Wicca and they deny the gods. There's a new rise of atheism in the crowd, which is not traditional. I come from a more traditional background and the British Isles, traditional witchcraft. And Drighton is considered the all-knowing divine force, kind of like we call in spiritualism spirit, the consciousness of the cosmos. That's Drighton. But Drighton is so profound and mystical that most people can't relate to Drighton. And so from Drighton emanate the forms of the father and the mother. But ultimately, they're really reflections of Drighton. So Wicca, even though it's polytheistic technically, in many ways, or duotheistic, is actually mono. All religions ultimately, now this is the part that's going to sound funny, but if you really look into this, you'll see I'm right. All religions actually are monotheistic on some level. People say, oh no, Bob, you're wrong because I follow Hinduism and we worship Shiva and Parvati and Kali. But if you actually study the writings of the Hindu sages, they will say the same thing, that all the gods are reflections of Brahman, the impersonal spirit, that the Brahman manifests through all the gods. So ultimately, all the religions are teaching this. When Christianity came along, they tried to say all religions are false except their interpretation. And they interpret it as one God who's a male with one son who's Jesus and one spirit who's a dove. But if you actually study the ancient Hebrew Judaic teachings about God, God has a masculine, feminine element. That got written out in Christianity in favor of the patriarchy. So we have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, who according to traditional Christianity are all masculine. But that's not really true because the word spirit in Hebrew is female, which means mother. So we have Father God and Mother God. And then the emanation of their love is the Christ. So even in Christianity, we have a God and goddess, though most people don't know that. So to answer your question, Stardust, the divine force, let's just call it that way, the Godhead, is understood throughout many worlds through different light. It's kind of like a stained glass window, right? I'm over here looking at my corner of the stained glass window saying, oh, God is green, the green goddess, because I see green light coming through the stained glass. But over on this other panel, there's blue light coming through. And somebody's saying, it's Mother Mary, it's God and Jesus, it's Christianity. And another person's up here in the golden light saying it's the Buddha and his teachings. And then we've got Muhammad. Each of them are looking at the same light. It's just filtered through various panes of different glass. Think of a stained glass window. Maybe that'll give you some idea. Also, as people have evolved in different places and times, different concepts, different thoughts were in vogue. And so the way people might have described God, 600 years ago may be different than they describe it today. So, that's why there are many religions, because the evolution of humanity, evolution of thought, time, place, and circumstance affect how we interpret those signs of divinity that present in our lives. So people say to me, well, is there one true religion, Bob? And I say, no, all religions have the truth, but none of them are absolutely the truth. Now you're going to say, well, wait, you're claiming to be a Wiccan. Why don't you say Wicca is the one true religion? Wicca doesn't teach that concept of being the one true religion. Wicca says we have an amazing experience of the divine of Drayton. We experience the Lord and the Lady, and that works for us. And we feel that when we look at the natural world, okay, magical mermaids said they have found God in nature. That's true. That's where I was going with this. We look as Wiccans, we look at the world, we say every single creature on earth, including plants, has masculine and feminine. Okay? So, like some of you have dogs and cats, right? You have a male dog and a female dog, male cat, female cat. Right? Plants are masculine and feminine. And so we believe that the divine is reflected through all nature. And we see it as terms of the god and the goddess. Okay. Baroness says, my church is the forest. I like that. I think a lot of Wiccans would agree with you. Wicca is a little different than a lot of religions in that they don't have a formal hierarchical structure. There are a few Wiccan temples around, but they're few and far between because most Wiccans like to worship in nature. And until recently, there was so much persecution, a lot of Wiccans were underground. And so they didn't build churches, they didn't go in public. So kind of think about that, that the divine is manifesting in all the world, male and female. That's how we as Wiccans see it. So we feel everything has a polarity of masculine and feminine energy. And if you even look at the human body, right? I present as male. I was born male. I have XY chromosomes as male. But what do I got? One X chromosome. What's that mean? Part of me is feminine. I'm 49% feminine and 51% masculine because I have a Y chromosome that drops in that cancels one of the X's. Women have two X chromosomes. So they're 50, 51 female. But all men carry the energy of the goddess. We come from the mother. Our bodies are made of part feminine substance from the mother and part masculine from the father. So this is why like male chauvinism and the patriarchy is really a stupid thing because no man is 100% man. We're all a blend. The women have the energy of the father through them. They're part male. Women have testosterone in their body. Did you know that? And they have to have it. Just like men have estrogen in their body to a lesser degree. But we're all a blend of male and female. And so the Wiccans of old figured that out a long time ago before science came up with DNA. And they realized we reflect the divine through us. And that divine is a masculine and a feminine element. You see? I hope that makes some sense to you guys. Have I lost you yet? All right. Stardust C says, I got one more question. Why does the Wiccan not have a church to go to? Well, a lot of Wiccans, one, like to be solitary. The religion says it's about you interfacing with the divine yourself. But there are covens, there are groups that meet. I run an order, and so does Baroness. We run a group called the Order of the Silver Star, which is a Wiccan group. So Wiccans don't have necessarily formal churches, but they do have groups they go to. They gather. Wicca is not focused on building churches and having structure. Wiccans are very free reigning. They believe in just gathering on the spur of the moment under the moonlight and celebrating. They don't have the hierarchical structure and formality that a lot of organized religions do. In fact, most Wiccans will tell you they don't want to build a church because then they get caught in all these structures and duties, and her church is the forest. Many Wiccans feel that there's nothing more sacred than worshiping out in a field under the moonlight. And I would agree. I've done rituals on beaches with the moon rising. I've done rituals out in the fields with the moon overhead. And there's something incredibly powerful and sacred about doing your rituals in nature. And so, though there may be some Wiccan temples around, they're few and far between. But that's why we don't really believe in a formal church structure. All covens are autonomous, meaning there is not, there in Wicca, there's not a hierarchy. There's not like a pope or a president of the order of Wicca that makes pronouncements for all Wiccans. All Wiccans are free to follow the god and the goddess and the gods as they will. And so there's nobody dictating to us what we must believe in rules. The only rules the Wiccan have are the Wiccan Rede. And that says, "And it harm none, do as you will." Excuse me, guys. I'm losing my voice today. Lady Bree says, 50% of our ancestors are male and 50% female. That's true. That is true. See, so again, the god and the goddess are seen in all of life, you know. Robin Boss says, I like that a lot. Also would like rituals out in nature. Well, Robin, hopefully we're going to eventually do a meetups at some time with our coven. We'll try to arrange a place and we'll all meet up and, have rituals. Right now, most of our rituals are online. But as in solitary Wiccan, you can always go out and, Cola knows a lot of times I'll go out just here in my local park on the full moon and do magic rituals. Last month, I consecrated my magic mirror and one of my crystals. And it was lovely, and she was there. And I think sometimes those spontaneous rituals are the best, Rob said, that would be great, Bob. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to try to do a group meetup eventually in person. Half of our coven is in Europe and half in America, so not sure what we're going to do, but we'll figure out a way. Maybe we'll have an American meeting, and then I'll go to Europe and have a European meeting, Is tonight the full? Oh, yes. I forgot to say that. Yes, tonight is the full moon. It's Wednesday night, and our moon is in Gemini tonight. Yes. Stardust ceases. Do the Wiccans take holy water like the Catholics do? Yes. The Wiccans have holy water as well. They consecrate it in a number of ways. Some do it under the full moon or the dark moon. They'll gather water from the ocean and use that. But yes, there is a concept of holy water, similar to the Catholics. In fact, I think it was the Catholics who stole it from the pagans, to be honest with you. But yes, we have holy water in the Wiccan tradition for blessing, protection, all of that. Lady Jane says, healing springs, also natural ones. Yes, in in Europe particularly, there are a lot of healing springs and water areas that are sacred from the ancient pagan times. Yes, Lady Jane says, moon water mass. Yeah, Marjana, like tonight is a great night for holy water. You can get a vessel of water, take it out under the moon, offer it to the goddess, If you can, let it sit out, at night. Got ink on me. And just let it sit. If you can't go outside, you could put it in your windowsill as well and let the moonlight come in on it at night. Wonderful way to consecrate the water. Cover with a prayer. Maybe sprinkle a little salt in it for purification. Yeah. Yeah, Baroness says, keep moon water out as long as you can. Yeah, if you can keep it out all night, that's really great. If you're in a place where you can get the rays on it all night, that's a really wonderful way to do it. So yeah, tonight's full moon. I forgot that. All people, I should know that, but you're right. It's the full moon. I didn't do an astrology forecast today, so that's why I wasn't looking at it. Thank you, Scott. Scott says, please press the thumbs up button. It helps the channel. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, thumbs up doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps me. It keeps me on the air because YouTube is doing a lot of closing of channels now. But if you have a lot of thumbs up, they get a little hesitant to back off. They'll back off, so they won't do that. Anyways, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to get off of here. I just want to spend a little time with you guys tonight. And I hope you had some fun and enjoyed this. I've had a great time. So we'll continue next week. We'll work a little more in our hand as I get some new brush. I've got to get some new brushes. And we'll continue with this. But I want to say thank you to all of you for gathering tonight. Thank you for your kind words about my new charm. I'm really enjoying it. And, just keep it here at Spirit Show. We got more coming. Tomorrow is Thursday. I think we're going to have a seance tomorrow. See how Psychic Bob feels. I've been trying to space my energy out a little bit because I've been working an awful lot. So we may have a seance tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, but probably 7 o'clock. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But I want to say thank you for being here. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You'll get notices. Make sure to click the bell for updates and notifications. We do something every day here. 7 days a week, you got Psychic Bob. Oh, by the way, I still have some seats open for this Sunday's planet Mars. And I'm going to show you how there is life on Mars and what's coming in relation to the Martians and the Earth. That's going to be on Sunday for Psychic Bob's Inner Circle. It's a 2-hour class. As part of that class, I also allow you to ask some psychic questions and get some answers. It's a group of only limited to 10 people. So if you want to be part of a small inner circle where you get a lot of time, one-on-one time with me, you might want to join us. Send me an email tonight over at my website, PsychicBob.com. There's a form at my website. And if you send me an email, I'll add you to the list. I have just probably 3 seats left. So if you want to get in, I need to hear from you. If you wait till the weekend, you won't get in, okay? Because it fills up every month. It only meets twice a month. So it'll be 2 more weeks before we do another inner circle. So come join us. Love to have you this Sunday, okay, for my Martian prophecies. I'd love to see you there. You guys are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all very much. Don't forget also Saturday is Psychic Development class, so you can make it a Psychic Bob Marathon weekend. The Psychic Development class is on my website. You can register over there under services, and you scroll down, you can read about the class, and you can buy it there. It's only $30 for the Saturday class, so I hope you'll come join us. We'd love to have you there for Psychic Development. Sunday is Inner Circle. Inner Circle is $50, but again, it's only 10 people, whereas Psychic Development class is like 30 people or more. So it's much more intimate Inner Circle, and you get to have a private little mini reading with me as well. So I hope you'll join us for one or both of those. You can make it a Psychic Bob weekend and do both. Listen, guys, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Hi, Robin. I think Robin's going to be in Inner Circle, aren't you, Robin? Inner Circle sounds interesting. Yeah, so come join us, okay? Listen, guys, I love you. Look forward to hearing you. Baroness, thank you for your service today. I'm sorry about the tech issues. But by the way, if you didn't see the icon at the beginning of the show on the front screen, that was art designed by Baroness for us. So thumbs up for her wonderful artwork. All right, Robin says, I'll be there. Yay. All right, Robin, we're looking forward to it. All right. God bless you, Amy. Thank you. Psychic Bob loves you too. You guys rock. Listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. More coming. We'll be back here tomorrow, hopefully, for Thursday night seance. You guys rock. Love you all. Blessings to you all. Good night.